wonderful to be here this Sunday morning. My name is Reverend Ken Wilcox, and you're most welcome to be here at the Center for Spiritual Living of St. Augustine, Florida. You know, we're kind of a unique spiritual community. Some might say weird. I was called that just last week, but that's okay because we don't have any dogma. We don't force you. We don't tell you what you've got to believe. We have the opinion that you're smart enough, you're wise enough, you're intelligent enough to know what you're to believe on your own. And we encourage you to accept a God of your understanding, one that you can believe in, one that can empower your greater good. And what is your greater good? Well, for more love, more joy, and more prosperity. And to bring those things in life, we always ask you to do one simple thing each Sunday morning. That's to leave all your troubles, your would-haves, your could-haves, your should-haves, your yard clean up, getting the shutters off the windows, leave all that stuff outside. And for the next 45 minutes or so to open up an avenue of spirit possibilities. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love, more joy, more laughter, more friendship, more music, more dance. All those things in life that make us feel alive, because that's what Spirit is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself through our love and joy and our laughter. So know you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, a couple of announcements before we get started. First one is my class on Tuesday, Journey of the Soul, is at 6:30. We're midway through the class, but it's a wonderful class with lots of really good discussion. So if you'd like to join, please join in. We have a game night that's coming up October 16th. That's coming up, is that this week? It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be games and pizza and drinks, so it's all free. Come and join in for that. We had scheduled a after-service workshop with Elaine Malloy, but Elaine has a family challenge in Ireland, so she's back in the old country, and she won't be here for this, so we won't have it this week, but we'll have it coming up. We have a teen outing that's coming up. It's going to be mini golf. If you have a teen or a kid or you want to borrow somebody's, that's the best way to do that, actually, so you can just hand them back. It's free. We're going to pay for golfing and also for dessert and ice cream, so be sure to do that. Judy James, if you didn't know Judy James, what a character she was a dynamic force of nature. She was a practitioner here. Everybody knew Judy, and she was an amazing person. She supported the center wonderfully, and now that she has transitioned, her kids now support our center. Each year they do a matching grant for us. They will give us $10,000 if we can match $10,000. So to get the campaign underway, I have donated $1,000 myself. That hit the bank this morning. Now, I know $1,000 for some people, that's a lot. So if you can't give $1,000, don't feel bad about that. God does not know numbers. God knows intention. So follow your intention and give what you can, and know whatever you give is going to be matched. And so this is a great way for us to bring in extra money to our community. The campaign is running until the November 15th. Just be sure whatever you give us to make sure you mark it the Judy James Fund so we'll know which category it goes in. Finally, we have some former members who are a lovely couple, Mike and Susan. They came here and supported us. They moved to North Carolina, and their house was washed away with the hurricane. She had to be rescued by helicopter. And there was a lot of drama going on there. And so we want to send them our best wishes. There are 2 cards outside on the hospitality table. If you want to just make a notation to them, even if you didn't know them, it's still always nice. People are thinking of you and praying for you. Well, those are all my announcements. So to get us started, David, do you want to come up? Oh, there you already are. Play something wonderful for us.
Yeah, so this morning I'm going to do an amphibian song for you. So we'll stray a little bit. Why are there so many Songs about rainbows and what's on the other side. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it, but I know they're wrong. Wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, for lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what that's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, for lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell, we know it's probably magic. Have you heard voices, and have you been calling? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, for lovers, the dreamers, and me. La da 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 da, la da 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 da.
Aww. That was wonderful, David. Miss Piggy would be proud, David. So now we have the time we do our reading and treatment, and we've got our own wonderful Linda coming up to do it. Thank you, Linda.
Before I start, I'm going to make one more announcement, and that next weekend, the Botanical Gardens in Hastings has their kind of grand opening celebration, and there are flyers out there. There are flyers in the lobby. It'll be Saturday and Sunday. I'm doing that for Susan, 'cause Susan Brenner is spearheaded it, I'll put it that way. This morning, I'd like to share with you, I've talked about forgiveness before, our forgiving others, but this is about forgiveness of ourselves, and this is from the current Science of Mind magazine this month, and it's just a part of it. The practice of forgiving ourselves over and over again, despite our many mistakes, eventually leads us to realize our limitations and forces us to reckon with the reality of what is. When we finally come face to face with the fact that no amount of punishment, abandonment, or repeated renewals of faith in ourselves ever gets us to where we want to go, we make space to open ourselves for the true nature of the journey. I forgive myself doesn't mean that I won't beat myself up anymore. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to bring up past anymore, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to make this mistake again. It means that I remember who I am. I remember what life is all about. I let go of earning love, and I allow myself to feel God's love right here and right now. I keep reaching for my ideal because moving toward the next destination is the adventure of my life. I live for the thrill of pursuing my definition of perfection, knowing that in the highest way, I am already perfect. So if you'll close your eyes for a moment and I'll do an affirmative prayer. I recognize that divine presence in all things, everywhere, present and all loving. I know, and if you will take this, I will do it in the first person, so take it as your own. I know that I am that perfect person. I know that I have all those divine qualities, that I can live this life unconditionally loving those I'm in contact with. I know that this is what my goal is, my goal to learn and love unconditionally. Today and every day, I'll recognize those and look for that spiritual love that each and every one has. Today and every day, I am joyful for all the beauty that surrounds us, and I let go of any negative thinking. I know that all of this is the absolute truth. I am very grateful for it as I let go and let God, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Linda. David?
All the time I thought there's only me, crazy in a way that no one else could be. I would have given everything I owned if someone would have said, "You're not alone." All the time I thought that I was wrong, wanting to be me, but needing to belong. If I had just believed in all I had, if someone would have said, "You're not so bad." All the time, all the wasted time, all the years waiting for a sign, to think I had it all the time. All the time I thought there's only me, crazy in a way that no one else could be. I can't believe that you were somewhere too, thinking all the time there's only you. All the time, all the wasted time, all the years waiting for a sign, to think I had it all the time.
Lovely. Thank you, David. That was wonderful. Beautiful song, yes. So my talk title this week is Becoming the Blessing. Becoming the Blessing. Now, a crucial difference between our teaching and other spiritual traditions is that while some paths would have you would encourage you to worship God, we don't emphasize that. We don't emphasize that you should worship Spirit. You see, God already has everything. It is total, perfect, and complete. So it does not need our worship. Why would an all-powerful being really require anything from us? It doesn't want our worship. It wants our growth. That's what it's seeking. That's what we've come to life to do, to grow, to learn how powerful we are in partnership with it, to create a better blessings for ourselves, for each other, and for the world. To have a God experience while we are here in the physical plane. Because it's only by experiencing something that we truly know it. It's the difference between reading a French cookbook and having a French meal. It's the difference between reading a romance novel and having a romance. Those are completely different things. So we are here to have a God experience. The divine force that set the universe into motion created us to recognize our connection with it in the world of challenges. And the world has challenges, both large and small. This week, we all went through a major challenge with the hurricane. I'm sure most of us didn't have a very good night's rest on Wednesday. Now, fortunately, here in our area, we didn't have a lot of damage. For us, the most inconvenient thing is we didn't have electricity for 2 days. It's amazing how dependent you become upon electricity. You know, when we woke up Thursday morning, of course, we couldn't use the coffee pot, and for a second I thought to myself, well, we'll just microwave the hot water. I caught myself with flashlight in hand going into a room and turning the light switch on. Flashlight in hand. So, yeah, it's like the old blues song. There was old blues songs. You never miss the water till the well runs dry. And we get so dependent upon something. We use it every day. And so it's remarkable how much our life depends upon it. I wonder if it's the same thing with our relationship with Spirit. Dr. Holmes says Spirit is closer to us than our next breath. So perhaps it's so close to us that we ignore it. We don't even realize it. Closer to us than our next breath. Challenges remind us to stay present, to stay conscious of our thoughts and our action. And one huge blessing from the hurricane is that I notice how people start caring for one another more. You know, they check in with one another. Our neighbor across the street, they kept their power, and when they realized that we didn't have ours, they brought their generator over to loan to us. Now, here's the thing. This is the same neighbor that for years past have put up a different variety of political yard signs than you would see in our yard. But you know that did not stop them from stepping up and living from their hearts to do as what Christ said, to love their neighbors as themselves. Perhaps if we were more willing to see each other from our hearts, we could move past a lot of this political divide that's really ripping our nation apart. Dr. Holmes, the founder of our teaching, he said, change your thinking, change your life. The divine power which set the universe in motion has no problem solving a political divide or a financial issue or a hurricane for that matter. The only obstacle is within us, in our thinking, that somehow we're separated from the power that created us, the power which called us by name from stardust. The good news is, if it's a problem that's within us, it's a problem we can easily change with our thinking, with our consciousness, with our prayers, to learn to pray not to a God only in heaven, but a God in our hearts, where the infinite reality resides. To live as not as victims, but as victors. To know that that when we help ourselves, we assist others. When you help others, you assist yourself. It's the same thing because we are all one in eternity. Emmett Fox says, when what you think upon grows, whatever you allow to occupy your mind, you magnify in your life. By choosing thoughts of unity and love and service, we align ourselves with this divine energy, and it brings us harmony, not only to our lives, but to the world around us. Right now, the world around us seems rampant with confusion and turmoil and fear. And what is most needed is for people to respond from their hearts, not their fears. Heaven is not a distant place. It is a reality when we experience, when we align ourselves with the good in our souls. It is as close to us as our next thought. Our teaching is that there's no heaven and hell. It is a consciousness. It is a mental experience. And if it is so, then we can experience it at any time when we choose to elevate our thoughts, when we go from the confusion and turmoil of the world to the peace and harmony of Spirit's consciousness. So we want to pay a close attention to our thoughts, how we're thinking, and when we notice that they've gone into a negative place, to gently guide them back on track. And when you find yourself doing that, take a moment and congratulate yourself, because this is where the miracle begins. When you catch yourself going in habitual patterns of thought, of negativity, and you recognize it, and you can gently encourage yourself to go to a more positive direction, miracles are taking place. Because normally you would just keep going along. You would just keep following the path. And you would say to yourself, well, this is reality. This is the truth. When you stop yourself and redirect yourself, you are empowering the greater good of yourself. You see, the negativity in our lives, we're the only ones that empower that. There is no force for negativity in the universe. It is only empowered by our thoughts and fears and doubts. It's like those lawn Halloween decorations you see. You plug them in and they blow up into all kind of scary stuff, Frankenstein, Dracula, whatever. And they may look huge and frightening, but the moment you pull the plug on them, they deflate to a pancake. And you realize they're nothing at all. This is the same with us. When we take our negative thinking and instead choose to believe in the goodness of life, we empower ourselves. And when we choose to believe in the goodness of life, well, that has all the power of the universe behind it. And when we live in that empowered state, then there's from all over, because we are now in the flow of the universe, and in that flow, miracles can unfold. Now, you don't have to own every thought that comes in your consciousness. There are sometimes reactions and thoughts that pop into my head, and I know exactly where they've come from. They came from my mom. Well, she grew up in the Depression on a cotton mill. She didn't have such a positive way of thinking. And so I can recognize it, bless it, and release it. I don't have to own it. I don't have to accept it. I can open myself up to a better idea. And that better idea is God ordained. that better idea is coming from Spirit. And if it comes from Spirit, then there's a way for it to manifest. So step into your power. Release the negative. We're on this journey of faith and trust and a divine purpose. And even when we can't see the full picture for ourselves, in fact, if you're really on a cosmically inspired goal, you're not going to know all the steps to get to where you want to go, because Spirit is going to supply those steps for you. So cast your vision high, and then start moving in the right direction, and then start moving to see where the path leads you. It's like when you're out in the forest, you're on a hike. You can see what's right in front of you, where the trail leaves you, but way up ahead of you, you don't necessarily see the trail clearly. You've got to start moving on the trail, and it opens up for you. The same with thing in life. Start moving. Some things and some challenges in life are a great puzzle. We don't see all the final result. But if you start putting them in place, they will start showing up for you. I posted, for me, it was a lovely video this week. It was a British guy, and he was visiting his mother, I suppose in England, and they were taking a walk, and she has Alzheimer's. She can no longer recognize him. And I don't think there's any more of a brutal pain than to be with someone that you have loved dearly and they no longer recognize you. And so as they're on this walk, he's constantly reminding her of who he is. He's her son. And he keep repeating his name, and she recognizes the name as her son, but she just doesn't recognize him as the son. And so he's gently reminding her. And at a certain point, she remembers who he is, and she connects him. She knows that's her son. And when she does, all of a sudden she breaks out into a song. And this song was extremely popular in Britain during World War II. It was as popular as Somewhere Over the Rainbow would have been for Americans. And what she had done is she had taken some of the lyrics and she had switched them to have his name in it. And so she was singing this song and singing to him. And it was a magical, magical moment, because the song is about being present with someone, but accepting the reality that you may lose them. And the theme of the song is, we will meet again. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when, but we're going to meet again. And the song was popular, was huge. And in fact, it carried the British through that dark time. Now, I love the story about the song as much as I do the song itself. The woman who sang it was named Vera Lynn. She became hugely popular in Britain during this time. She had hit after hit after hit. She became a hero to the British people. Now, here's the thing. When she first got going to her career, she had gone to the executives of the BBC. And at that time, if you were going to have any sort of musical career at all in Britain, the BBC is where it was going to happen. So she went and she auditioned for the BBC, and they told her, they said, you might as well forget it. You'll never have a career in England. They said, you've come from the working class. You don't have the right accent. You're not polished enough. You don't present yourself like we need. They said, we need an upper class person. That's what's going to encourage our fighting boys. You see, what they didn't understand is those boys could identify with her. And she inspired a nation, and she kept them going when nobody gave them a glimmer of hope. And for a nation suffering loss on a daily basis, it was a balm for weary souls. She carried on until I think the 90s. And you can see clips of videos of concerts in the 60s and 70s where she would sing in front of audiences. One where the Queen of Elizabeth was there. And when she would start that song, the whole audience would break out and sing along with her, many with tears streaming down their face. And even Queen Elizabeth gave her a title when she became this national hero. Now, here's the lesson to take from that. We may not look or sound the way the world expects. The world may have told us you don't have what you need to make a difference. But just like Vera Lynn, you have exactly what you need to be a blessing to yourself, to your family, to your friends, to all of creation. Ralph Waldo Emerson, he said, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters to compare to what lies within us. What is within you is the power and goodness and the glory of God itself. And there is no challenge too great for you in spirit to overcome. Eric Butterworth said, God can only do for you what God can do through you. And through us will come the healing of the world. Through you will come the awakening of humanity, the dawning of a new possibilities where we live in peace, where we encourage and inspire one another, where we raise up children to know who they are and whose they are. They're children of spirit itself, here to live. We are not here to worship God from afar, but to experience God within, the goodness and glory and blessings. And every challenge is an invitation for us to expand our awareness, to deepen our connection, and to become the blessing the world needs. This is the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man, scorned and covered with scars, still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.
and we support this center because this place is doing great good. And you're helping make it possible. Your support is allowing us to be the beacon of hope and light and inspiration. So you can support us in a couple of ways. You can support us by volunteering for us. We love that. You can support us in consciousness, by doing prayer work to see us growing and thriving. And you can support us by coin. However you choose to support us, know that your support is going to come back to you multiplied abundantly. If you will, take your intention and place it over your heart and read with me this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. Well, thank you in advance for your generous contributions. If the ushers will step down. David, I know you got something great for us.
I hope so. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the rivers are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. And we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high can the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon. And whether we are white or copper-skinned, you need to sing with all the voices of the mountains. Need to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth and still all you own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Andy, and thank you. Your supporting is allowing the center to grow and to thrive. It's important, it's needed, it's necessary. The light that we're putting out is helping be a beacon of hope and inspiration to the whole world. So we thank you, we bless it, we release it, knowing it does its good and perfect job, returning to us multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, so now we're going to close the service by an affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me this morning. There is but one God and one mind and one power. That power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. It created me from itself plus nothing else, so I can experience the glory and goodness of God made manifest. So here today, standing on the soil of St. Augustine, I fear no man. I fear no challenge. God is with me. It is calling me forth. It is urging me on for my impossible dream of love and health and prosperity. And I am reaching for that unreachable star, for God is giving me the power, the boost, the knowing that I can make it. I can achieve it. I can do what no person has done before. I can live in joy and love. I can witness God made manifest before my very eyes through love and laughter, through wonder and friendship and dance and all those things that make me feel alive. So here today, I turn loose of every fear and doubt I've ever entertained. Those are small ideas, and I've played with them long enough. This morning I am choosing to lift my eyes to a better knowing, to lift my eyes to the goodness and glory of God raining down upon me. So this morning I walk out of this building inspired. I walk out of here encouraged. I walk out of here knowing that God is with me, never leaving me, urging me on, lifting me up, calling me forth to experience a greater good with my partnership with that which set the universe in motion. So this morning I'm leaving here nowhere tired. I am leaving here knowing that I have a friend, a partner in God itself, and we are here to witness miracles unfolding. This is my truth. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one last thought, and that is your life. Your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle God is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.